Hey, so the other day I finished Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Um this is my second full length. I know War and Peace isn't, or Tolstoy didn't consider it a novel, but this would be my second full length Tolstoy book. I had read a collection of his short stories as well. And last year I read War and Peace in the Pavir and Velikovsky translation. Um, this is my first time reading Anna Karenina. As I mentioned, I finished it a couple days ago. And I started this channel primarily to speak about books because not many people in my life read, especially not the kind of books that I like to read. So I thought I could start discussions on here, which, and what better book to start it off with than Anna Karenina? As I mentioned, I read War and Peace in the Pavir and Velikovsky translation. This edition is Louise and Elmer Maud. And just a quick comment on the translation. I found it to be, I found the Pavir and Velikovsky translation to be almost a little stilted at some points, whereas the Maud, in my opinion, flows much better. So if that impacts your decision to read the book at all, there's my 2 cents. With regard to the physical copy of this book, this is the Wordsworth Classic, and it's a pain to read. If you could see, I broke the spine everywhere, and I don't usually do that. But with this book, it was necessary. This edition is 800 pages long, roughly, and it's quite short, the physical copy of the book. So it's heavy and it's stout, and holding it was just a pain. My hand would cramp, so I had to break it. But if you don't care about that thing, then this is a fine edition. And as I mentioned, the Louise and Elmer Maud translation seems to be a good one. So yeah, when I was deciding what to talk about with respect to this book, I thought there's no way I could add any unique takes to the discourse about Anna Karenina, because it's a 150-year-old book that seemingly everyone has read. However, I was reminded of a scene that perhaps would go unnoticed in just a cursory read-through of Anna Karenina. And I thought it to be kind of interesting, and I hadn't heard anybody speak about this specific scene yet. So I thought we could talk about that. And if you want to add your own takes in the comments, if you've read this book, then that'd be great. Finally, also, there will possibly be spoilers. This scene takes place about halfway through the book. But if you haven't read it and you don't want to have anything spoiled, then maybe come back when you're done the book. So this scene takes place in part 5. So Volume 1 of Anna Karenina has 4 parts. Volume 2 also has 4 parts. So this is the first part of Volume 2, Volume 5, Chapter 11. In this edition, it's on page 470 and 471. So in this scene, Anna, Vronsky, and their friend Golniashev, hope I'm pronouncing that right, are in, they're visiting with a artist. Mikhailov is his name. I'm not sure if they're at his studio or in his house. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, they're looking at his paintings, the artist's paintings. And in particular, one painting really resonates with Anna. And it's a painting of Jesus and Pontius Pilate. So I'll read from it. Anna says, referring to the painting, "How wonderful Christ's expression is," said Anna. That expression pleased her more than all else she saw, and she felt that it was the center of the picture, and that therefore praise of it would be agreeable to the artist. Again, Anna speaking, "One sees he is sorry for Pilate." So the reason that I attached some significance to this scene was because Tolstoy kind of prefaces this whole visit with the artist with a discussion of art in general, and kind of like hinting at the death of the author kind of discussion, which I find to be quite interesting. And obviously it's applicable to this scene here. specifically because the artist Mikhailov is very occupied with what the visitors, Anna Vronsky and their friend, what the visitors think of his paintings. So much so that he forgets his own interpretations of his paintings or their own merits. He's completely absorbed by what Anna Vronsky and Golnishev think of his paintings. So I believe then that Tolstoy, obviously, Tolstoy's a master author. So I'm going to take this to be a purposeful move he made in having Anna kind of relate to Christ's expression in this painting, obviously. Now, since this depiction of Christ resonates with Anna so much, I'm thinking that Tolstoy, or in my opinion at least, Tolstoy is challenging the reader to see Anna as a Christ-like figure. Now, you might say that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because obviously Christ is without sin, and the whole point of this book essentially is Anna being a sinner. Now, that's true, and I would agree with that. However, I do think we can see Anna as kind of a sacrificial figure. Obviously, Christ was a sacrificial figure. He died for the sins of everyone. Now, how is Anna sacrificial, or a sacrificial figure? Here's where the spoiler is if you want to skip ahead or you want to stop watching. Anna obviously commits suicide at the end of the book. Now, obviously, that's not what Jesus did, but in some sense, she was sacrificed for her actions, for her beliefs. So I think in some sense, it's not too much of a stretch to say that she resembles Christ in the sense that she was sacrificed for perhaps not a greater good, but she was sacrificed for an idea. Now, what is that idea? Anna Karenina, the book, as a whole, I think is partly, perhaps mostly, about modernization, modernity. There's the scene at the very beginning, or near the beginning of the book, where Anna and Vronsky meet. They meet at a train station, and that's kind of obviously like a Chekhov's gun situation, or foreshadowing. Now, the trains are pretty clearly, I would say, a symbol of modernity, globalization, modernization. Obviously, trains allowed people to travel quicker, more efficiently to different places, which leads to a greater number of relationships you can have. Obviously, it has impacts on commerce, agriculture, things like that as well. So I think bookending the novel with train scenes obviously highlights that at least partly this book is about modernization. Now, what does that have to do with Anna? Anna is the modern woman, in my estimation. Most of the book revolves around, well, most of Anna's part of the book, not speaking about Constantine and Levin, but, or Levin and Kitty, excuse me. Most of Anna's parts deal with modernity. In what sense? Anna is first and foremost depicted as an individual. She's not depicted as a mother so much. That would be kind of the norm in other books in that time period, especially. Anna would be seen as a mother and a wife first and foremost. Now, Tolstoy, one of the great things about the book is the progressive depiction, well, let's not say progressive, but progressive for the time, the progressive depiction of Anna as an individual with thoughts, feelings of her own. Now, why is Anna not first and foremost seen as a mother? Well, another spoiler coming up. When Anna and Vronsky decide to finally fully be together, she's going to leave her husband. They don't get a divorce, Anna and Oblonsky, Anna and Karenin, excuse me. Anna and Karenin don't get a divorce, but Anna leaves and goes abroad with Vronsky. She leaves her son with the father, signifying to us that Anna is not, though she obviously, she's distraught about this turn of events in the book, but she does leave the son. So that's Tolstoy obviously painting this picture of Anna to us as a lover, an individual, a woman, before she's a mother, before she's a part of a family. So that's how Anna, I guess, depicts the modern woman. Now, there's more hints or more symbols of modernity as well in the book, obviously. There's a scene where, I forget exactly who it is, but I believe it's near this part of the book that I'm referring to, when Anna and Vronsky are abroad. Someone says it's a shame that women can't participate in the games that men play. There's another part where one character makes a comment to a woman saying, it's a shame that women can't go hunting with the men. That's the domain strictly of men in this time. Further, Dolly, another character in the book, struggles with she struggles when she hangs out with Anna and Vronsky and their friends, because she sees Anna and Vronsky as behaving childishly or having too much fun, behaving like children. However, when Dolly does make that visit, when Anna and Vronsky are abroad, she's intrigued by the lifestyle. She's intrigued by the ability, or Anna's choice, to leave her husband and to kind of participate in this scandalous affair. That's another scene that obviously shows what the modern woman is and how these characters in the book struggle with that idea. Dolly obviously may want to be a modern woman, quote unquote, be more like Anna, who is an individual and who makes decisions for herself first and foremost. Now, Anna obviously sympathizes or relates to Jesus in this photo. Obviously, as a sacrificial character, Jesus, or a sacrificial figure, Jesus was crucified for blasphemy. Another way to see that is that Jesus was crucified for being ahead of his time. Jesus wasn't, or the general population wasn't ready for Jesus at that point. I think we can say the same about Anna. Anna is sacrificed, so to speak, because she's the modern woman, yet the world this world hasn't exactly caught up to Anna. The world isn't perhaps as modern as Anna is. We see this in a few different characters. Specifically after Anna's death, someone who speaks ill of her is Vronsky's mom. Vronsky's mother obviously represents the old guard, in some sense, the old ways, a counter to modernity, if you will. How can we see this? Throughout the book, Vronsky's mom is, well, at first I believe she's charmed by Anna, but throughout the book, when the relationship between Vronsky and Anna is ongoing, Vronsky's mother is disapproving of this relationship. First and foremost, because it impedes Vronsky's professional career, which is obviously something you would associate with someone who's a little more conservative, not as progressive. The same thing we see with Oblonsky and Dolly. As I mentioned, Dolly kind of struggles with the idea of being a modern woman when she visits Anna and when she sympathizes with Anna or thinks about her by herself. However, Oblonsky and Dolly are very supportive of Anna before her death in the kind of divorce separation process. Yeah, they're supportive of her, partially because they love her and she is family to them, but also because Oblonsky and Dolly represent, in my opinion, they also represent a shift from traditional ideas to more progressive sensibilities, let's say. As I already mentioned, Dolly is pretty open with her thoughts about sympathizing with Anna and also wanting perhaps to be more than just a mother to her kids. But also Oblonsky is, the first scene in the book is about Oblonsky's kind of, the consequences of Oblonsky being unfaithful to Dolly. Now, in the aftermath of that event, Anna has to speak to Dolly and make sure that, or to console her and to convince her eventually not to leave Oblonsky for his for cheating on her. And this is like this is another way that Tolstoy paints these characters as not only progressive but complex. Just like the world is changing with globalization, modernization, the trains, everything like that, so too are the characters wrestling with the shift from a more traditional way of life to, again, progressive sensibilities. Now that's all I had to say about that. I rambled a little bit, and I had notes here, but I didn't make a script or anything, so some of it I'm sure was a little disjointed. However, if you'd like to leave a comment and start a discussion, I'd be happy to do that in the comment section. So thanks for listening.